Take a little walk down into the underbelly of streaming, where hope is cheap, but it's all we have. We ain't got the fancy things that the big streamers got. We just got ourselves, each other, and the loyal few who follow us. We all got dreams, but when will they come true? Sometime, baby. Sometime. Welcome to the Sometime Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sometime Show. I am Zargram Zanders, magician extraordinaire, and I want to welcome you all to the studio while we are interviewing our latest guest, Korthlan. So, thank you so much for being on the show, Korthlan.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So, I'm going to open us up with the same question I try to ask everyone who comes on here. Who are you, and where are you from?
Hi, I'm Korthlan. I am an American West Coaster. I live up in the mountains in my own castle, and I'm a bit of an eldritch abomination.
Oh my!
This is my RGB puppet.
So you're a bit of a puppet master, kind of like the Metallica song.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So, what makes an eldritch abomination want to start streaming? What's the connection there? What makes you want, in all your power, want to like play video games and talk to people on the internet?
Well, I found that video games have drawn me in from the outer planes, and I'm not addicted, I swear. I can quit anytime. And I saw that these streamer peoples apparently get to play video games, talk with people, and hang out with people. And I thought that would be a good idea.
Cool. So you and I were talking before the show started. We were talking about got all kinds of stuff. We were talking about stuff like your video games and stuff like that. And I got to say, your model is absolutely amazing. I was talking about it earlier, and you say that you love doing 3D modeling, and you loved doing all kinds of stuff like that. So how long have you been doing 3D modeling then? How far back do you go with that?
Oh, good lord. Okay, so for 3D modeling, just as a thing that I did, I've been doing it for at least 15, 16 years. But for the sake of this model, only for about 2 years. So,
okay.
Blender specifically, only about 2 years.
So you're a Blender head, huh?
Yeah, I fell into Blender because it was free, and 3ds Max these days is super expensive, and no.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the price point? No, that's the price point.
Exactly.
Okay. So why don't we talk about your character a little bit here, the one that you used to represent yourself. So what influenced your design of your character?
Yeah, so I've always liked the grays, whites, blacks. It's an easy color, but importantly, I wanted lighting. I wanted to be able to switch colors all the time. And with grays and whites, it's very easy in Unity, which is what I use to mess with this model, to change colors. So I'm able to pretty simply change like the lighting, for example, on the model, if needed.
Cool.
Or completely change what a model looks like if needed.
Nice. Just don't switch to green, because we're using that to chroma key you into the scene.
No worries.
Okay. So what's the star theme about? What does that connect to your character exactly, or how does it connect to your character?
Yeah, so as an eldritch being from the far away, the outer realms, I am the star.
Ooh.
I am actually the central star itself, and as such, I am but a haze of stars that surround it. My chest is just a representation. It's not the true me, I swear.
So you were a star at heart then.
Exactly. And it ends up showing up on all my things. I love using it as a banner for my glorious empire.
Thank you. Sorry. So someone just handed me something in meat space. Okay. Cool. That's really awesome. So okay. Why don't you talk? So the name Corthlin, is there significance behind that?
It it's a name I originally used to. There was a game that I can't remember. Dark Eden. There you go. That was the name of it. It was a vampire game, a free-to-play vampire game way back when. And I was just thinking, I always made character names for things, and I was like, what's the most vampire-y sounding edgelord name I could think of? And at the time, it was Corthlin, and it just sort of followed me through all my years online after that point, and it stuck.
I'm trying to find a good graphic of Dark Eden to share with the fans in chat.
Good luck.
Yeah, it looks a bit like Diablo.
Yeah, kind of.
You know what? I'll just put this image up
you
here
could-
that I found. Yeah.
Yeah, you could be a vampire slayer or a vampire. I picked vampire, obviously.
Because when everyone wants to be the cool, like, no one understands me. Like we've all had that kind of moment. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I swear I wasn't an edgelord when I was younger, but I mean, vampires are just awesome.
Totes. My sister is really into vampires and to writing stories about them. She was all about that Anne Rice. She was gonna hit me for saying that she was in the Twilight when it came out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I've tried getting her interested in things like World of Darkness, where vampires are called Canaanites and so like that. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh, I know the World of Darkness. I know Vampire the Masquerade, Mage, the Ascension, all those.
Right. I think that would be really up your alley. But okay, so there's vampire vibes. That probably explains the pale white countenance.
Yeah.
We have a question in chat. Vampires because he wants to live forever?
As an eldritch being, I of course will live forever. I mean, surely nothing could possibly go wrong.
Well, enjoy the heat death of the universe. But okay. So, pulling the mask back a bit, what got you into streaming to begin with? What motivated you to actually start streaming?
Yeah, so I originally streamed when I was much younger, when Twitch was just JTV back then. But I was younger. I mostly played like just modded Fallout and was just kind of having fun with it. In the last couple of years, however, I decided to come back. I decided to see if I could hang out with some of my friends who also wanted to start doing streaming stuff, and just use it as a method to play with other people, to find friends, and to hang out.
Cool. I get you. Yeah, I can totally get down with that. It's part of the reason why I started the Sometimes Show. I wanted to start making friends, networking, and I figured, hey, other people could probably use exposure, and I could definitely use making new friends, because I can be kind of forever alone in some kind of ways. So I totally get what you're saying with that. Okay, cool. So, what kind of stuff do you like to stream exactly? We were talking before the show, and you said you like all kinds of different stuff, but you especially like strategy games, even if it's not the most popular category. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Strategy games are very much my like space filler, because they just they just take your time, and it's fun the entire time, and then you realize that you just spent like 8 hours conquering America, and
Yep. There's a reason why the button in Civilization when you beat the game says, just one more turn!
Exactly. I constantly go back for that one more time. I go back to play each of the different roles, or each of the different countries, or each of the different characters, and they're just so much fun.
You probably play Crusader Kings until all of your descendants look like they're made of pudding, right?
I mean, I totally would. Crusader Kings 2, I've played far too long. When 3 came out, It was 3 all the way for a while there.
Mhm.
And they just added Japan and all that to the. God.
Oh god,
Oof.
doing the Sengoku Jidai with Japan and Crusader Kings would be crazy because everyone
Dude.
wants each other dead during that.
Yeah, it goes all the way over to there now. Just like base game, you can go out to there, which is
Can you imagine if they tried
good.
doing like trying to capture all of India during the Middle Ages? Oh boy, that's gonna get complicated.
Mhm.
That would get really complicated.
Mhm.
Okay. So, what are some challenges and perhaps even setbacks you have had to deal with in your streaming career?
Internet. When I say I live in a castle on a mountain, I unfortunately mean on a mountain in a forest. There is one internet provider here, and I certainly get internet.
Let me guess, they don't get their daily allotment of fiber, as it were?
Yeah, no, we when people were talking about like Google Fiber and all that jazz, where it's like, oh yeah, we get huge speeds. I'm like, cool. I got my cable lines are literally like wound around trees right now to get to me.
Oh boy.
It's not great. Um, and then a lot of just like, what do you want to stream next?
Hmm.
There's this constant, you're uncertain of what to do next. You know,
Hmm.
like a I'm waiting for the next big thing before I do the next stream, which just results in me playing like my favorite games over again for like the 4th time. I think I've played Cyberpunk on stream 3 times already.
Hmm.
But other than that, setback wise, it just takes a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
And
I
I
really
gotta
admire.
go out and do
Oh,
other things.
yeah. I really admire how you're able to stream for long durations of time. We were talking about this before the chat or before the stream, and I really admire that. I really wish I was able to go for like as long as you do. And I remember you were saying that you don't have to stream one game the entire time. You can just break it up and do other stuff. I really like what you said about that. I think that's a good advice to follow.
Yeah, if you're running out of steam on one game, just try to find another game in your library that you know you'll have some more steam on or to continue with, and just keep going. Keep going for as long as you can.
Hmm.
Don't wear yourself out, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But find a game you want to play. I beat Code Vein 2, and now I'm doing the New Game Plus. And if I'm done streaming whatever I normally would stream, or I got bored, or I'm getting a headache, or whatever, I'll just load up Code Vein 2 and keep streaming anyways for a little bit.
I get you. Sometimes what I'll do, I've dabbled with this in the past. Like sometimes we might do a thing where I'm making a map for a game because I love making maps. I love like development type of work with stuff. Like for example, when Skyrim modding was really huge in like the 2010s, I got so wrapped up in doing it that I literally was late for a date, and I got in huge trouble. Oh god. I like making maps is like crack to me. I can just get absolutely stuck doing that. Yeah. So okay. So what are some projects or interests that you'd like to mention that you're building up to or wanting to do in the future with your stream?
Yeah, so every Friday I've tried to add extra bits and bobs to my model. Using Blender or whatever I possibly could, just to add like redeemable options, stuff for the viewers to turn on and off.
I get you. Yeah. Oh, please continue.
And then, yeah, no, and then just a lot of kind of just waiting for the next like decent single player game. I've been trying to do a story game every week, but for some reason there's just nothing out there right now that's like super interesting, you know? I feel like gaming overall is sort of like
diluting
slowed down a bit. Yeah, diluting. That's a good one.
Well, so what does excite you? What does interest you then?
Anything that comes out with stupid multiplayer, those like friend slop games, those have been really fun. to like just hang out and play. So your Peak, your RV there, Yet, your Repo, those types of
Like
games.
Among Us,
Um,
Fall Guys, that kind of thing.
yeah, and then Code Vein 2 was my big story game that came out recently. My longest stream ever was Dragon's Dogma 2 when that came out, which is just again another good story game with RPG elements that you can kind of just get sucked into and disappear for a while. Of course, you're streaming, so you haven't really disappeared, but you're you're in a different world.
I get you. You got the immersive factor, it sounds like.
Yeah, if you got good lore and like something that I can just stick into for a while and not leave, just another world to be interested in for a little while, those are fantastic every time.
You like to plug into the matrix, as it were.
Exactly. I'm the kind of person who, when you go into character creator, I come up with a name for that character and I, build a specific character with a role that they plan on doing. Even if it's just for some multiplayer shenanigans game, I'll still do that.
Cool. Do you like stuff like D&D or Shadowrun or stuff like that? Because I remember we were talking earlier about World of Darkness and stuff.
Yeah, so I have had a long-running D&D campaign since I have been streaming
Wow.
with a few of my friends. It happens every Sunday. We switched from D&D to Cypher Roleplay fairly recently.
Okay.
Mostly because we wanted a different system, but also some of the things happening with D&D, Hasbro, all that stuff. There was a whole bunch of fights going on with that, and we were just like, let's find a game that can run the system that we actually want, and let us do kind of whatever we want. But I've played or read basically every one of those tabletop RPG systems. I love them all. I would love to play them all.
One that I've always wanted to run is like Planescape. I've always been fascinated by that setting.
Planescape's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it can also get kind of crazy sometimes, but then like every good setting has its wacky parts that make it unique. Okay. So here's a question I like to ask. I usually like to ask some like standard questions for people. Then we like to go off on other stuff. So what goal or objective do you have for yourself when it comes to streaming or for your channel as a whole?
I always want to try to connect with or find others who play the games that I'm playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's always nice to have other people to play with. There's that first moment of like, oh, new person, hang on, let's figure out who this person is. But once you get to know the people watching and hanging out with you, a lot of them are also just fun to play those games with because they're watching you because they enjoy that game too.
Totally.
Or they're watching you because they wanted to help you in chat with that game. Sometimes you get the person who shows up and wants to yell at you because you're playing it wrong. But most of the time, you find a lot of good people who are just the same as you and they just want to play games and hang out. And it's been really nice to find those people. A lot of the friends that I play with now, I found over the last couple of years streaming. People who I would have never met, people who live in entirely different portions of the country or entirely different countries. It's great. It's fantastic, and I want it to keep going.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love that. I've kind of run into that with my role-playing career. I do stuff like Space Station 13. I've done stuff on a bunch of other sites, and I've run to people like in much in a similar way. And I've run many D&D campaigns. I'm kind of a perma DM, and
yeah, same here.
Yeah, like for me, I can't really play D&D video games and really enjoy it because for me, I like the amount of freedom you have in like actual D&D with a open-ended like campaign. If people start to have like a really closed-ended adventure and then it's in the D&D setting, I'm like, well, isn't this how this is kind of like Skyrim to me? You know what I mean?
I got a question for you now.
Okay.
Baldur's Gate 3, what's your opinion?
Okay, so I haven't played it and I kind of don't intend to play it. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I've already played Oblivion, I've already played Skyrim, and I feel like, okay, if it's a curated adventure, then how is it any different than those things? Because it's like Mass Effect, it's like Dragon Age, or it's like all these other things, and it's just like, okay, it won't be the D&D experience for me. And also, unfortunately, I'm better as a DM than I am as a player. As a player, I get very paranoid about everything, and I kind of go into like a Dark Souls mode where I assume everything's going to kill me, and I get very, very, like, almost meta, because I have to play, like, I have my character get a bunch of 10-foot poles, I have my character get I get broken glass in a bag, and a bunch of other things that they don't really tell you in the player's handbook, but if you've done Dungeoneering, you know it's important to have. And that's the thing, is I sometimes as a player I take it too seriously, and what kind of gets me a lot of times with like single player modes is when there's ludonarrative dissonance. For instance, I was trying to play Amnesia recently, and I started to feel kind of annoyed because I was like, wait a minute, I'm stuck in the castle. No, I'm not. There are windows right there, and there's a bench right there. I could pick it up and just throw it through the window and just walk around to another part of the castle. Why am I doing it this way? It's questions like that that tend to, when games don't try to be very immersive, I can just, my suspension of disbelief is, intact. But when the game is trying to be persuasive about immersion, I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't I just do that? So, because I tend to break games not by metagaming per se, but by para-gaming, if that makes sense. Like, I'm thinking, okay, you're lost on the road, well, then just camp out until morning so you can get your bearings better. Don't just go wandering off into the woods. Like, I'm kind of the bane of plot hooks, because, I don't know, I'm kind of addicted to common sense on certain things.
I will say, freaking loved that game. I played through it like 4 times. I completely understand that. There was maybe 2 moments the entire time where I was like, I was thinking those thoughts where I'm like, why don't I just do this instead? But otherwise, through he's opening his Steam so that he can see how many hours he's played the game. 409 hours I've played of Baldur's Gate 3. I never really had any moments beyond that. Like, anytime you made a decision or just decided to freaking jump out a window, for example, you just could. The game didn't stop you, and I thought that was pretty cool. But I completely understand where you're coming from. There are those moments in every single game, and when it comes to as close to physically possible to a D&D style game, I'd say Baldur's Gate 3, 10 out of 10. Definitely gets it. Is it going to be D&D or D&D-like or let you do every single thing possible? Of course not. It's a video game.
Yeah.
But they tried so hard, and they got real far.
I have played previous Larian games. I played Divinity 2 Original Sin. I thought that was pretty cool. There is a story thing that one of the things as a DM that I just kind of vehemently dislike are ithlids. And I know that Baldur's Gate 3 revolves around getting rid of a tadpole. Here's my hang with ithlids. Lore aside, the very concept of the ithlid, its threat, is that it can take control of the character away from the player. And because it's all about mind control. And, I mean, granted, it doesn't have to use that, obviously. It can do a bunch of other stuff. But that and a lot of psionics stuff, I've never been a big fan of because it just feels like it's sanctioned god modding to me. Granted, it's all about how you use it, of course. But just on principle, I have never, ever really been down with ithlids. I've always thought them to be kind of, like, against everything I stand for with D&D because I love the free choice and open-ended stuff. Because I'm an improv DM. I can make up almost all kinds of stuff on the spot. So if someone says, I want to go this way, I can just make up stuff, bam, 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 for like that. But saying, no, you can't do that. You failed. The numbers say you have to do what I tell you to do. I don't like that as a player, and I don't like that as a DM. And I feel like both the Ithlid concept is just built around that. And I know that they're old. They're as old as first edition. And they've always been there. And even if their origins in Spelljammer are kind of bonkers, I still it just doesn't sit well with me. So the fact that the whole main quest of Baldur's Gate 3 is built around it is like, I'm like, okay, I really wish I could do a different campaign, even if it's Ravenloft. But so that's the thing. It would be like, it's kind of like me with Star Trek, where how I think the concept of DS9 is really cool because I love the show Babylon 5. I really do. The whole idea of a town in space and having to survive all kinds of stuff going on, awesome. Love it. Love to see it. I just don't think the Bajorans are interesting. They're rubber. They have very little things that make them look different from humans, and they have culture, and I just don't think they're cool. I just can't find them interesting. I just I understand the groundwork they laid in TNG, where they're an oppressed people by the Cardassians. I got you there. I understand. And there's a lot of parallels that it has that are very important and relevant in human history, no doubt. I understand all of that. And then there's the theocratic questions in DS9 too. Great, cool, awesome. I understand where you're coming from there too. But as a culture, they just feel kind of Like, even the Minbari probably have about the same amount of latex and, makeup on them. And even their culture seems more interesting to me than the Bajorans. The Bajorans are more like the whipping boys of the Alpha Quadrant. And it's like, oh, let's watch the Bajorans be sad about this week. I'm like, okay. At some point, it's like, it doesn't feel like it ever gets better. It's only, you're just there to watch them get the crap beat out of them. And it's like, dude, this is like, man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They're the easy scapegoat to be a red shirt for that show.
Yeah.
They're the I have never DS9 I haven't watched too much of, but I do love Star Trek overall.
Totally.
Fantastic. There's just so much in all those series, and while DS9 was never my favorite, you could just watch an episode and get a full story. Back during the age when the continuity arc didn't entirely depend purely on one episode.
Right.
It was nice to be able to watch those shows and just get a single episode in and be like, cool, I understand what happened here. That was fun.
A story in a box.
Like the Monster of the Week. Yeah, the Monster of the Week style things where it's like, here's the problem we have for today. Whereas a campaign in D&D is like, here's your monster for today, and here's how they connect to your backstory and why you're going to be traumatized for the rest of your life.
I wish players would actually roleplay things like fear and angst and stuff like that. A lot of times, they have a character who has all these faults or whatever, but they don't really lean into the acting part of it. They're like, because if they say, "Oh, your character's afraid by this," okay, whatever. I take a disadvantage on some of these rolls, whatever. And it's like, but dude, your character's supposed to be afraid. They don't really, swallow the motivation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I also wish it was easier to do that. So a lot of times these days, so if you're playing in person,
oh yeah,
it is a little easier to do that because you can kind of
gauge
be
the table.
in character, emphasizing as your character, and yeah, you can gauge the table, and it's easier not to do stuff like talk over each other, which happens all the damn time on Discord, because one, there's a little bit of a delay, just a fraction of a delay on Discord, which means if you don't have cameras on at the same time as other stuff, it can be really hard to play that kind of stuff, and it's just like, I wish there was an easier way, but I don't think there ever will be, because there's always going to be I want to be friends with people from across the country or from other countries, and I want to play D&D with them too. But then we got to use Discord or another. Yeah.
What I do when I'm running D&D online is in character is the text chat, and out of character is the voice chat. That way, if we want to explain what our character is saying and thinking, and that way that we can minimize miscommunication, we can just do that in voice. And then the final copy is what we actually post in the chat. You know what I'm saying? We use out of character to inform in character, as it were.
Yeah. I don't mind that, but I do like hearing what they're saying, the way they would say it. You know what I mean? I know some people can't do that. I know a bunch of people who definitely should be doing that, because then they can put their emphases, or they can be like, this is obviously sarcasm. But I still like it when my players are able to say something in character,
Hmm.
because then I can reply to them in character as a DM with another one of my horribly unpracticed accents for whatever this character is, back at them.
Hmm. I get you. You like the more human element to it. I can definitely empathize with that, and I can understand why that desire would conflict with people talking over each other. I understand exactly where you're coming from. It's yeah. Sometimes you get these hangups where what you want to do and the means of enacting it as a reality can really have a lot of conflicts that might seem insurmountable, but maybe as the technology evolves, it might get a little bit better. But yeah, I hear where
Yeah,
you're coming from.
every time we we need full dive VR GMs. No,
You could use Tabletop Simulator.
yeah. Well, that still has a similar problem where like you're not there. I'm talking like we need a way for me to get my players to be standing right across from each other from across the world in my game world.
Oh man, if we could
If
have like
only.
holodeck D&D, that'd be amazing.
Dude.
That would be so cool. Like there was an episode of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic where Discord, who was basically Q, basically started using his magic powers to make the what they call ogres and oubliettes come to life. And the holodeck aspect of that is really cool, but he like turns the safeties off because he's kind of mischievous like that. But yeah, if we could have like holodeck level D&D, oh, that would be awesome. But then everyone would get tired because then you'd have to actually walk places.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because I hope you like hiking.
It would be a lot of fit D&D players though. You'd be able to know the D&D players for sure because they'd all be fit.
Oh yeah, it'd be fun though. Okay, well let me ask you. Hang on a second. Let's check something real quick. Right. Okay, so it says here that you like 3D modeling in general and you like using Unity, right? So so you said that you started out with some vampire stuff online. That's kind of what helped inspire this. What drew you to the eldritch creature type of thing? Are you like a fan of like Lovecraft's writing or something, or things like that?
Yes and no. I've always liked. So I've read all of H.P. Lovecraft's stuff. Good stories. Horrible person.
Yes. Yes.
But
there's a reason he's called Hates Progress Lovecraft.
Yeah, but the idea of the unknown, the infinite elsewhere has always interested me. Like spaceflight, for example, is more interesting to me than going into the deepest oceans. Because like we haven't explored the deepest of the oceans yet to 100%, but I would still rather go out into space and find whatever is out there, or just my relaxation moment is being in, a spaceship with just the stars around you, nothing else, the hum of the engine, and you're just there relaxing. Like that.
They got VR chat worlds like that.
Yeah, that's my lo-fi to work to type moment. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And I've always had that the idea that this creature, if you looked at its true form, you would go insane.
Okay.
I love that.
See, let's unpack that, because obviously what's explained in the H.P. Lovecraft books was always kind of a bit silly because he didn't really understand math, but the concept is still interesting nevertheless, because he based it on non-Euclidean geometry, which that doesn't make sense. But if we
non-Euclidean geometry.
Yeah. But if we extrapolate that to mean that perception, that's like a cognito hazard, that by trying to perceive it, it damages you. If we try to extrapolate that, what about that idea grabs you exactly?
Not so much the damage, but more the idea that like you've seen into what should not be known, and so your mind just naturally goes, "Nah, didn't happen, bruh. No. The human mind having a switch that basically says, no, I'm good, thanks. I think that's both fantastic and mildly scary, because, like, who knows what you have forgotten? Like, maybe you've already seen the unknown and you just don't remember. Maybe it drove you into insanity and you're just normal now. And it's like, if these creatures are around, or they're just way off in space, they're way off in the distance.
Mhm.
It's just a cool idea. I think it's just interesting. But to be fair, I like all mythological creatures. I like all that kind of stuff. It just so happens that an eldritch creature being able to puppet this body, and an eldritch creature existing elsewhere and doing other things. The mortal meat me that exists,
Ow!
for
Ow!
example.
Oh!
Jordan.
Ow! Thank you, Daniel
Oh.
Cola. Ow!
He's been attacked.
Ow! That really hurt. Ow. Okay. So, but basically, thank you, Daniel Cola. Thank you. But it sounds like what you're describing is that you enjoy the mystery that is the periphery of the human experience, the very edges of what we can understand and what our minds are unconsciously willing to accept. It seems like you like not only just discovery based on your topics of your interest, but you also like the concept of the unknown itself.
Yeah, constantly push that border. Constantly push what is unknown until we know it, or until it drives us back.
I kind of dig that, actually. I kind of dig that because my character is kind of like designed around being a magician who like pisses everybody off equally. He pisses off angels, demons, eldritch, mechs, everybody, because he's like a rapscallion type of mage. So I kind of get where you're coming from with that. The idea of always wanting to explore, always wanting to investigate, and seeing what are the limits of myself, but what are also the limits of my kind. I kind of get with that. So what would you say birthed this desire for exploration? Because it seems like you're exploring not only the world around you, but you're also trying to explore cyberspace in the way that you're always trying to explore new ways of advancing your character. What would you say is the root of this interest of exploration?
I don't know. I've just always had a desire to learn the new things. Ever since I was younger, it was like, cool, what's this new thing that comes out, right? Like when the first computers and stuff were becoming more readily available for people, and dial up and all that jazz, when we finally had internet, it was very much like, cool, I kind of want to open it up and know how it works. I want to know the bits and the bobs inside of everything without becoming a specialist. There's no way I'd ever be driven to like burn down so deep into something that I could recreate something like a computer, for example. I know how to put together a computer. I couldn't tell you more than what the inside of a graphics card looks like. Like, I couldn't tell you how to actually build that or what each individual thing is, but I could tell you how to put together a computer. I could tell you how the computer works. I could tell you the idea of what binary does and how it interacts with other programs, but I couldn't tell you why that works the way it does. And I'd like to just know the insides of as many things as possible.
Okay.
I will try to dissect as many things, which is why when I was starting VTuber stuff, it was like, cool, I made a basic free model. And I was like, can I make a crown that moves? And I learned I'd have to learn Unity for that. So I was like, okay, cool. What's the least I have to learn for that first?
I know that feeling.
Then I started learning. I didn't stop.
We have a question from chat here. Emma Peruento is asking, speaking about computers, do you use AI in your work, in your entertainment, or in your life?
No, not really. I've pretty much kept away from it. When ChatGPT was first coming out, I messed around with it a little bit, and it was more just like for fun, just asking it dumb questions or asking it for like ideas of stuff. But that lasted like, I think I made like 20 posts total with ChatGPT, and then since then, I had used Midjourney to come up with character ideas for things, but I never used the art for the art's purpose. But that's really it. There's no reason to use AI if you can find like an artist or find a person who can actually come up with a story. I don't mind AI being used as like assistant, but anything more than basic assistance, I feel like should be something a mortal is doing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like,
Yeah.
mostly when it comes to art. When it comes to art, it's gotta be a person.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
AI seems fine at making a thing, but it doesn't.
There's no novelty to it.
It feels AI every time. Yeah, and you can. It feels AI every single time. I don't know. Eventually, it's gonna get so good that we can't freaking tell. But as of right now, and it consumes so much. I am anti AI for the purposes they're trying right now, which is mostly for taking people's jobs and art.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the thing is that when they try to use one problem that I think is going to contribute to the AI bubble popping is that the problem of positive feedback paradoxes about how you want a certain outcome. And the language learning model, and they call it AI, but it's not really an artificial intelligence. It's really just machine learning it's more of a VI, if anything, honestly, in terms of how it actually functions. But in terms of what it spits back out, it will get to know, like, if you are a company that doesn't ever want to hear bad news, what's to stop your LLM from adopting that? And then that could contaminate how it functions. Everyone acts like AI is the savior of business, but well, it's a reflection of the human creators and the human users. And the more you use it, it's like garbage in, garbage out. It's not always going to have the best advice. Maybe you can pick out certain things from a big stochastic, data bank, but it's not always going to have rock solid analysis of it.
Every AI is only going to be as good as its trainer and its training.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you train the data on is all it's gonna know, which means it's fantastic if you can direct it. It's fantastic. Like, if you wanted to do one thing, I saw somebody who was an artist who specifically was trying to get the AI to purely do art like it, and so the only information the AI had was that artist's own artwork. It looked good. It looked fantastic. And the artist didn't mind because they could obviously be credited for all of that art, right? It's like, yes, the AI literally used purely my stuff and literally nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you mix stuff and you can't get credit and you don't know where the info's coming from,
right.
Who knows if you get something like poisonous or something that's obviously ruined? Who knows if you become a freaking extremist AI just because you got like one data set that they didn't look at? And they're not looking at the data.
There's no regulation either, so yeah.
Right now aren't looking at the data. They're just like, cool, there's a package of data that says it does this, good enough.
Yep.
I load it in.
Yeah.
Who knows what's in that?
There's no quality control, there's no real regulation, and everyone's acting like they just invented the steam engine. No, I'm sorry, it is way overvalued. It is nowhere near as revolutionary as the steam engine, and it's not even a full AI because it doesn't really autocorrect per se. It has to be told how to autocorrect.
Yeah.
And
it has to be told it's wrong.
Yes, and that's the thing is it knows but it doesn't understand. It's like the China room syndrome or China room experiment. It can know but it doesn't really grok. And I'm using that in the Heinlein thing of like really, really understanding. I'm not using that in the Twitter, AI crappy thing.
Yeah.
Emma has a follow-up question. That is an unknowable creature, isn't it? Incites unexplainability horror, doesn't it? Do you consider it an organism, I guess is the question. I kind of don't, because it's more of an advanced algorithm that simulates, I think, what you tell it to simulate. I wouldn't consider it an organism per se. I'd say fire is more closer to an organism because it's self-propagating, it's self-sustaining, as long as it has all the nourishment that it needs. And in terms of like biological stuff, I would say fire is closer to an organism than, at least in a philosophical standpoint, than AI is. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, AI... The only thing that has come close has been Beetle's attempt at an AI that could understand things and learn.
He's really swinging for the fences on that.
Yeah, even then, even he knows that yeah, she's a program I made. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yes, even saying she is like, in the end, it's just
A
all
very
training
elaborate
data, and
puppet.
it's been, yeah, it's been years of training on chat and on external devices, and she can Google and she can do all the stuff that like to look stuff up, but does she still is just an entertainer designed to be that way, right? She is an entertainment source, and
Yeah.
it's close, but it's not unknown. It's not an organism.
I'd say in
It's not
terms,
unknown because you can look at the training data. I
I,
don't think any of AI would be unknown because you can always look at the training data.
I think to the layperson it might be unknown though, because most people don't have the time or
Oh,
energy or
yeah.
interest to actually look at the training data. But for people who are in the know about how AI function, they would probably have such proclivities to actually do that. But I think for the layperson's perspective, it can feel like a new life form. Unfortunately, my perspective is that it's almost like humanity made a self-petting machine, and
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Yeah. That's a
it
good
gives us the
example.
feedback we want, and
Hmm.
it kind of feels a bit reductive of the human condition that another organism is defined by how it interacts with you, and not exactly
Yeah.
necessarily with how it interacts with itself. Because how it interacts with itself is
It's like those videos where you get the AI voice
oh,
memos, but you put two of them next to each other and they respond to each other and they just devolve into nothing.
yeah. My opinion is that concurrent quote-unquote AI is really closer to a robot than it is an android, because it doesn't really understand what it's doing. It's more of just a very elaborate set of layered algorithms to put out what we tell it to put out. It can't just
Yeah.
wake itself up and decide to do something completely different one day.
Yeah, it'll always just do whatever the training was on it.
It doesn't have the
just a
curiosity
very
to evolve its skills. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, some do, but they'll always evolve it to the training.
Mm.
Like, even if they can look stuff up, similar to Beetle's, for example, even though she can look stuff up, it's not like she's constantly looking stuff up to enhance her stuff. She's still just using the data she already had, and she only looks up stuff when needed, right? It's that thing of like, if it doesn't quite understand a thing, it doesn't give a shit. It doesn't care that it doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And it won't ever care that it doesn't understand unless you tell it to care.
Oh, Emma was saying, sorry I misguided you. I didn't mean a creature as an organism. I meant more like an entity, like as a dark god of sorts. Oh, they
AI is
might
a
be getting at
dark god?
Roku's
Bug?
basilisk. Well,
Oh, what now?
Roku's basilisk, the thought experiment about how if there's a sufficiently powerful AI in the future, it would basically have access to time travel and basically cause its own inevitable creation and basically become a cognito hazard that if you ever go against its creation, that it'll punish you in terms of a causality or something like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like the millennial version of, was it Calvinism or Lockeism? Which one was the one about predestination? I forgot. I think it was Calvinism.
I don't know the name. I know what you're talking about.
Sorry.
I know the. Well, it's like the Artemis Fowl book, Opal's Deception.
I never
don't know
read
if
those
you've-
books, but I know of them.
In Opal's Deception, basically, time travel can occur.
Mm.
It turns out that the version of time travel that exists in theirs is that everything that can happen has already happened.
Yeah,
So
that's a
him
popular
going back in
interpretation these days.
time- Yeah, him going back in time was something that had already occurred, and because he had gone back in time, that's why he did the stuff that he was doing. Which means the only time causality or anything would have happened is if he didn't go back in time, but he knew he was going to go back in time because he'd already gone back in time. So it's the
Why, Tarth?
everything that
Why would
can
you do
happen.
this?
Hey yo,
Tarth loves to open
Bug?
up with. You remember what I was telling you before?
yeah,
How this started out as a joke and then they just kept it going. Yeah, this is the joke that they just kept going. How they think it's just.
oh god, I just got followed. Oh no,
Thank you, Chad.
the follower team was still on. Thanks for throwing them.
I started this as a joke and as a social experiment, but it turns out, no, they'd rather I just be in female form all the time.
Hell yeah, easy money.
Well, no, they're just redeeming points for it. But hey, if my constituents actually had, the wherewithal to or the disposable income for that, you better believe I'd be charging for that. But I'm not trying to squeeze blood from a stone. I don't like that kind of business practice. Anyway, moving on from that, Ranma 1/2 shenanigan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that I feel like that everyone's really excited about AI, as they should be. It is a really cool breakthrough in language in artificial intelligence, but I don't feel like it's truly cognizant and self-propelling because it's too clunky in its functionality to really be independent enough as an organism, and it's too the whole dark god aspect. I feel like that's more of a relative status for people who don't do the deep dive into how these things function. Because if you know how programming works, and you start like interacting with AI a lot, you start understanding why it does what it does, and it takes the mystery out of it. But on the other hand, if you're like a doctor and you know how the body functions, even if you still know that, there's still so many variables and depths that why I have a degree in medicine now, why is it not functioning this way? There is always that ghost in the machine, as it were, that ghost in the mechanics, that strange X factor that I feel like AI kind of lacks. It doesn't have that, I guess, spark of independence. It's too it's too dependent on its strings, whereas we are absolutely as squishy primates dependent on our own strings, like our tendons, our nervous system, etc., and definitely our hormones. That affects us to like a huge extent, more than people like to admit. Way more than people like to admit. People act like emotions are infallible and indelible. They're not. You can manufacture emotions quite easily with psychology and with psychiatry. It's actually kind of scary, but a lot of people act like it's immutable and it's, the deepest level of existence. It's not. It's not. You can replicate a lot of things in a person. You can make someone move if you zap their muscles right. So, in that sense, I can see why the comparisons happen between AI and biological life. Having said that, it doesn't seem to be nearly independent enough. Take, for example, a lab rat. Now, let's say in this hypothetical experiment, you have a group of lab rats, and you're giving them a task to do. And at the same time, you give a artificial rat an AI, and you give it the same stimuli that you would a baby rat, and everything like that. Now, granted, this might end up just revealing the weaknesses in the model itself, but I feel like if you were to create a control group to compare it against, it would show some of the differences and similarities between synthetic life, so to speak, and biological life, if you will. And I feel like the gulf is very large at the moment, and that while it can certainly come up with simple things like put these pixels in this configuration, put these harmonics and sounds in this configuration, sift through this data and look for trends. Simple things that are like algorithmically not that complex on a grand scale, just creating order from chaos because that's what we humans like to do. I feel like it's too highly specialized to be an organism, because organisms will do all of these things at different points and move state to state. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's just a limit of computing power. Maybe I'm full of it, and it really is the start of the singularity. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think worst case scenario right now is just if an AI gets control of too much stuff and then doesn't have training to not destroy the world, that it'll just be like, cool, press red button.
I think it would be more prone to compounding errors and tolerance and build up problems, because the more complex of a system you create, the more likely it is to jam up and destroy itself. I think that's one of the bigger problems that people don't realize about the difficulty of making a super intelligent AI is you have so many systems coming together to make that happen. How do you, and they're human systems, how do you not have it jam itself up? How do you have that good of error correction and error filtering? And if you did have error correction and error filtering, how would you not get rounding errors like crazy and then have like the biggest game of telephone between all these integrated systems? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there'd have to be a whole bunch of interpreters into non-interpreters and... Ugh.
Yeah, and in terms of computing power, that would become just like exponentially more and more inefficient as it goes on. And they're
already so expensive from all the water we use in them, and
all the water, all the electricity, all the processing power.
Prices.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that it doesn't really scale that well. It can if you want AI to give you a picture of boobies, it can do that. If you want it to basically come up with how to run an entire macroeconomic system with all externalities accounted for, and all weather patterns and geological patterns accounted for, and space weather patterns accounted for, and all psychological and psychiatric patterns of humanity accounted for, all at the same time while balancing microeconomics, sociology, philosophy, and all these other things at the same time, so that you can predict trends in the stock market and bond market and commodities market all at the same time. Now you're going to start to run into some problems, because you're going to get a bunch of systems that either you're getting off the shelf, or when you integrate them, you're going to integrate into integration hell. And I just don't think we have efficient enough computing to really make that really work with a low enough error percentage.
No, and most AI these days would just, like ChatGPT loves to do, it'll probably just come up with something instead.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it doesn't bother looking at the data and it just makes something up.
Because that's the path of least resistance.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, you want to hear about this? Cool. Here's something that sounds right in English.
Yeah, I mean,
good luck.
Google itself has an AI that'll tell you stuff, but then when you compare what it says to what people who actually know what they're talking about say, you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't comport. And people are basing their whole businesses on this.
I immediately scroll down from the AI. I'll look at the AI. If it's just like, hey, what button do I press for something? The AI generally grabs it correctly at the top of the Google screen. I'm like, cool, perfect. If it's literally like me asking about something, I immediately scroll down past whatever the Google AI says as a recap, because 9 times out of 10, the recap has like 50 different things put together, and none of it is actually like comprehended. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't parse or learn anything from it. It more or less is just attempting to regurgitate random stuff that it sees that looks like it could work according to English.
Oh, we got a
so you just scroll down below that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We asked my moderators asking Cortland, did you see that Adobe is killing Animate?
I don't know what that is. I don't use Adobe.
Yeah, Tarth, you weren't here. Korth apparently uses Blender a lot and Unity.
Yeah, and GIMP for my photo editing. Good old GIMP.
Open source is best source.
Yeah, brother. Oh, it's the Flash thing? Oh, it sucks because it makes sense, because like nothing can support Flash these days anyways. It's kind of already mostly dead wherever I go. Like, Flash is just not supported anyways. So I mean, it makes sense.
Adobe caused that as well in 2020.
Yeah, it sucks. Flash was fantastic. Flash was easy to use. Flash was... I know how to animate in Flash.
Cool.
I know how to, I suppose. Again, a lot of the, like, my early life was learning all that stuff. I happened to be lucky in that I had access to web design stuff, 3D animation stuff, AutoCAD stuff, Flash animation stuff. So I kind of learned, like, everything, and then basically all of it disappeared from my brain until recently.
Yeah. Use it or you lose it.
Yeah, luckily, a lot of it comes back. A lot of it is actually kind of like riding a bike. A lot of the Blender things were like very similar to what I did in 3ds Max, where it's like, it's not one-to-one, but it came back to me and I started understanding more. And then obviously I made horrible decisions to just add way too many polygons anyways. But that was my own fault.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when I was younger in college, I was basically making a mod for Skyrim that was adding a whole new city. But my problem is that I always get feature creep, and I always end up making something way bigger for its boots than it should be. And in video games, you really can't make something to true scale in a video game because even if you have really good hardware to run a true scale location or something like that, or real time whatever, that doesn't mean any of the people you're making it for will. And
yeah,
that's when you're making
True.
when you're making something, you have to make it palatable to the user, whether it's food and it has to be palatable to the consumer, or if it's a product and it has to be ergonomic to the user. That's one of the problems with making any kind of experience, is making it so that people can actually use it, and otherwise someone else can use it besides you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is why I don't make things for other people. That's not true. That's not true. I did edit somebody's VTuber model before, 3D model like mine, and added features to it. But generally, I don't. None of this is user friendly. None of this. Not
Yeah.
not a drop of it.
You would probably be a fan of Linux then, because it's all about it's broken, it's fixed, it's fixed, it's fixed. Oh, it's broken, it's broken, it's broken, it's fixed, it's broken, it's broken, it's broken, it's fixed. And
I was looking into switching to Linux.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
I've worked with it for I've worked with it before, but Windows XP through up to the current, I've mostly used Windows. 3D model's amazing. It was really thank you.
Oh yeah, they work really hard on this model. They do all kinds of stuff for it. It's all self-made by them.
Yeah, so the base, the bones and the base model bit was done through a free application on Steam that I will always, until they fuck up and or use like AI art, I will always be like, go check them out, which is Vroid Studio. But none of the textures that I have are from that. I made all the textures myself. I made the extra models like the pauldrons, this, that, all this stuff. So yeah, and I could ramble on that for forever. So.
We have a comment from a first-time shatter. Nachos for Jimmy. Cortland's going to be on Bazite before the end of the week. I don't know that reference.
Jimothy, what are you speaking of? Jimothy is my mod.
Okay. So.
Oh, the operating system for the next generation. I just looked it up.
Cool. So, okay. We've been talking about technology, we've been talking about philosophy, especially with AI stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, what happened? It feels like we've been going around the world on this thing.
I do enjoy my talkies.
Well, you are a streamer, so why wouldn't you? But I mean...
True.
Yeah, if you ever want to
These are
understand
facts.
what tolerance buildup or air compounding is like, be a live streamer, and you'll see what it's like when a million things go wrong in a cascading order.
I have been pretty lucky that rarely happens. Most of the time, it's just, hey, your internet's out. Good luck, nerd.
Yeah.
Though my one of my friends has had that lovely thing where almost every time she starts her stream, she doesn't have audio. Or when she connects to like a game and it's like, cool, which microphone do I use again? And she's got like
Orangeman saying, can't be a streamer if you don't have the scuff. Oh my god, I feel that in my soul. Every time there is something I'm forgetting, or there's something that goes wrong, every freaking time. Speaking of which, I hope this stream didn't get cut in half like the other one did. Nope. Okay. Because sometimes it'll just randomly get cut in half, and I like what Takahata 101 said, that I want to be an internet personality, but I also want to have way more things that can go wrong and break on me. That's being a VTuber.
Basically.
Oh, yeah.
Anything can break at any moment. Or, I literally just saw this yesterday. Hang on, let me turn on my ears. Or you could forget to recolor your ears on a certain mode, and so they're just red instead of being properly colored. Ah! And it irritates me every time.
Yeah.
They're bright red. They're not
Yeah.
supposed to be bright red. They're
As
supposed
someone
to
who
be
used to mod
strawberry.
video games, I know that feeling. How you think it's fine, and then there's like one little thing out of place. Like, you gotta be kidding me! I thought I got that.
Yup,
Ugh.
every time.
It's like from Jackie Chan Adventures, how Uncle would say, "One more thing, one more thing, one more thing."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just about every time. It can be a nightmare.
Yeah.
At least if you do it yourself, you know how to fix it. I know how to fix that. I know what I have to go into. I know where in Unity to change that. I know. Now, whether or not I get to it anytime soon,
You heard it here first, folks. An eldritch deity is scared of something, and it is debugging hell.
Yeah. Going through my blend shapes to set up literally any new set of color is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it really makes me appreciate why so many people are VR chat streamers. Because if you got the avatar, it already has all the stuff out of the box working. You already got the background. All you need to do is just use that little camera thingy and you're good. Well, okay, it's probably not that simple, absolutely, but as opposed to having, like, say, with Cortland here, with your own client and your own programs and all kinds of things like that. Actually, you're saying you're using VTube Studio, right? Or VRoid?
So, I used VRoid Studio to make the
Okay.
base, then I used Unity to edit it. I use VNyan to run it. On my phone, I have VTube Studio so that it detects my face, and then on my desk, I have a leap motion to detect my hands, which is why I can't give thumbs up because it's technically on my desk. I can give you a side thumb and down thumb, but I can't give you a thumbs up because the sensor is pointing upwards.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about what we were talking about earlier, about the idea of how we were saying AI doesn't count as alive because we were talking about what it can't do, but I feel like on a philosophical level that might be erroneous because there are people who have limits as well. Obviously, we can't just look at a huge system and go full Rain Man and just pick out exactly the trend line. But because just like the discussion in iRobot, can a robot make a beautiful symphony? And yes, can you? I feel like maybe that might be the wrong standard, but I feel like it doesn't create. I feel like if AI is alive by some metric, it's more closer to protozoa or a microbe than it is to a full person in terms of autonomy and self-direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't really have much.
Exactly. Like
It
a
just
plant
kinda
doesn't really
does.
have much either. It just follows patterns that are in its DNA and just executes them. I would say current AI, if it's to be compared to a life form, is closer to either a mold, a plant at the most, or a microbe or something.
Yeah, it's a plant. It's a very thirsty plant. Very incredibly thirsty plant.
Yeah, like corn or something. How corn just sucks water out of the ground.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I hear it saying. Emma was saying, just saying, these days you can have an AI agent that recolors your avatar on the fly by reacting to your voice commands.
God, I wish. I mean, okay, I can kind of. I can make it so that it changes my blend shapes for me by voice if I wanted to. That would be kind of a nightmare though, because if I accidentally say red and I turn red, it would be interesting. But
It's like if someone had Tourette's, they couldn't use that.
yeah, but in Unity, like recoloring all these things and adding a new quote blend shape or a new set of colors, because I do weird shit sometimes like this, which is
Not easy to
a
explain.
real pain in the butt. Yeah, I have to go through and change like a million different things to different colors. It's interesting.
Yeah. I definitely think that there is comparability between AI and human. Like, for example, a lot of the things you see that's like AI-generated images or videos, it feels like what a brain generates in a dream sequence in terms of how disjointed it is, the lack of rhyme or reason. But I feel like that kind of underlines a absence of, what's the word? Intelligence governance, almost. How it's a bit more chaotic But that might just be a failing
Yeah.
of the algorithm itself. But I feel like that a DNA structured type of organism is a lot more efficient at what it does than an AI one is. That's
Yeah,
just me.
AI has trouble determining what a word is sometimes too, like Orange Man is saying, where you could be saying red the color versus red the book, and AI
Yeah.
will be like, I don't know, fucking color.
Yeah, like what Orange Man
color,
just said.
color maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, again, these are like practical failings of it. I feel like in terms of its actual functionality, in terms of expose a model to a big, vast array of information, it's descriptive of life, but it's not prescriptive of life like DNA is. And I feel like that's kind of where we're at with math. It's not prescriptively life, it's descriptively life. It responds to something that already exists. It cannot just have the previous instructions and then build upon that like a biological organism would with a DNA and a nucleus and whatever. You know what I mean?
It doesn't. Yeah. It won't ever, by itself, change its shape. It can learn. I mean, it doesn't comprehend, but it can learn. That's a weird way to put that, but it'll never.
It regurgitates,
change.
but it doesn't have cognizance.
Yeah. Every time you want an AI to change, you have to actually go in and edit it.
Yeah.
AI will never really edit itself, and if it does, I fear for it, because then it might just accidentally put a line in the wrong place
And destroy itself.
Good luck learning some of that code.
It'd be like doing surgery on yourself.
Yeah, it's a bad idea, and it's probably a bad idea for AI too, because the second they get one line wrong, it's like, and errors.
Yep.
Good night.
Yep.
It's
Actually, I think I know how you could algorithmically do that. You basically create a virtual version of itself that it edits and has a compiler going, and it basically, this would take a crap ton of processing power and a crap ton of power to do. It'd be very inefficient, but you could theoretically do it. It just would not be worth the time and money. Because it could make a virtual clone of itself and basically have its own GitHub, and basically just keep making branches of itself until it finds one that's good. But holy crap, that would take forever.
Yeah, the amount of retries and runs. It's like when people do the God, the code bullet. If you've seen his video,
Oh yeah.
when he does the can a thing get through here in amount of time, because it evolves, basically it shows how evolution would work if it was going through generation after generation after generation. If an AI tried to do that with itself, the amount of power just for like 100 copies of itself would be so expensive.
Yeah, right now we don't have something as sophisticated as a macroorganism. We really have in terms of AI, it's really more like a microorganism in terms of what it's capable of for the amount of energy that's input.
Yeah,
Well, okay, we have gotten off really into AI. Let's come back to you for a second here.
we have.
Okay, so let's hear what we've discussed your motivations and stuff like that. All right. So, actually, oh, you say you like RPGs. What kind of RPGs are you really into?
A bunch. So I like the Souls-like games. They're RPG-ish. Code Vein too. I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
Game was fantastic.
Oh right, you mentioned that.
The
Yeah.
first one. Very RPG-like. I've played Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, Daggerfall, those games back in the
Ultima?
back as they came out. Ultima, yes, I have played Ultima, not the original though. The later versions of Ultima.
Mm-hmm.
I like the light RPGs where it's mostly just action, and I love the RPG. Yeah, Guild Wars 2. Those games are fantastic. I still play Guild Wars 2 to this day. I don't play it as much as I used to, but I mean, I've got 1,000 hours in Guild Wars 2. So, basically every RPG I try to get a foot in the door. Some of them I end up not playing at all. Like Tainted Grail looked okay. I didn't play. What is that medieval one?
There's a lot of medieval RPGs.
like a realistic medieval though. It's
Kingdom Come Deliverance?
there you go. I didn't play those. I've never gotten to play either of those. They looked a little too I don't know. I just never really had an interest in them. I liked medieval. I like RPGs. I didn't mind the way it looked, but for some reason I just never got that game. Like I never bought it, I never played it. And that's what happens often with RPGs with me is if it doesn't immediately pull me in with like a super cool premise, like I love magic stuff all the time. I love dark environments, dark the Warhammer series, the grim dark. That's the word I'm looking for. Gee, miss. I try to hit up as many RPGs as possible, and then obviously all the tabletop stuff we were talking about before. I know basically every system. I just haven't gotten to play basically every system.
Yeah, I know that feeling. So, what is it about the? We were talking about your curiosity for the unknown, the periphery of human comprehension, and all that stuff. So, what is that connected to your interest in the immersion with role plays, with like making up your characters and getting into that sort of thing? Is that because it's like a different experience, or is it because you're trying to leave your own persona and try to experience that of another entity, or is it more like you're trying to morph your own entity? Because like in acting, they have outside in and inside out philosophies. So I'm just curious what your perspective is on this.
I love playing roles. I love getting into a different character's mind space for a while. So as a design for this character being an eldritch puppeteer, when I'm playing a game, that is a different puppet. That's a different person, right? That is somebody else experiencing something, and I am just playing it. My puppet is puppeting a puppet. And I just want to experience everything that can be experienced the way that character would, which is why I like to come up with ideas for characters if I'm ever playing a game again. So for example, my first playthrough of Fallout 4, I mostly just went with the flow. I played through it, whatever. The second time I made a character, now that I know what's going on, I'm like, cool, this character is definitely going to join the Institute and just freaking go human experimentation, horrible person, 100% the entire way. They're totally going to just dive into that. And I think embodying another character that isn't you is just entertaining. As long as you can remember that version of you isn't you, right?
Right.
Like the thing I'm playing as is never me. If I'm being a horrible, nasty, evil monster, that's not me. That's the character in the game.
You don't want to end up like the that one actor from Tropic Thunder who has played so many roles that he goes so deep into character that he will literally get body surgery, where he's the dude playing the dude pretending or disguised as another dude, where basically their immersion is so deep that they lose themselves.
Yeah, no, you never want to do that. You always want to remember that it is a character. But I love being a character. I love going into another character's headspace and being like, cool, what would this person do? What would this character that I made, I literally created them. What are they? What do they do? Who are they? What decision would this person make? When I was playing Cyberpunk for the second time, I decided to make a character that I had played in a Cyberpunk RPG, a character named Four, the letter, or Four spelled out, so Four, but they were the fourth of a group of children before they got experimented on.
That reminds me of I Am Number 4.
Either way, I wanted to play as them, right? And I knew that they were a vicious, get-to-the-point, combat-driven solo, like just get to the point. If I have to kill something to do it, I'm just gonna
murder hobo.
Yesn't. It was more. Do I have a job to do? If the job is get this thing, and stealth is optional, the answer is get this thing, and everybody on the way dies.
Yeah, kind of like an adversarial assassin.
Yeah, if the job is don't kill anybody, okay, fine. Yeah, we won't kill anybody because you told me the jobs don't kill anybody. Like, she was a follow the orders, get the job done. If you have side objectives and I don't give a shit about them, then I don't care and I'm going to ignore them. And it was so fun playing as that character from an RPG that I played for just a little bit. I only played like maybe 3 or 4 sessions as that character before the game ended up falling through, which most tabletop games do. Luckily, my Sunday campaign hasn't.
Yay.
But I know that even if we take 4 weeks off, like we did recently, but it's playing a role is just super fun for me, and I love just picking a character and running with it. And if that character changes over the course of the game, that's just what was meant to happen. That's how that character would have interacted. And yeah, RPGs, Dragon Age, I never ended up playing Dragon Age, but I've seen a lot about it. Those games look like something that I'd very much be able to do the way I play through things.
So, I want to ask, if we're talking about RPGs, I have noticed a difference in design philosophy between JRPGs, which tend to be more linear by convention, versus Western ones, which tend to be more open-ended. And I find that curious, because recently I've been streaming Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I can't help but notice how linear it is. Like, okay, you have reached a questing area where you go out and do a bunch of different quests. Now you've reached a linear area. And it feels very curated and very distinct in its different phases. Whereas if you play Skyrim, it's so, it's a big chaotic mess of a system, but you do have freedom to put a bucket on a guy's head when you're talking to him, and it'll still be there while you're talking to him. And even if it is janky, it seems like with JRPGs, there is more of a desire from the developer side to have control over what the player experiences. Whereas it seems like with more Western RPGs, it's usually, not always, but usually geared around giving them a toolbox and then setting them free in a sandbox.
Yeah, the sandbox open world design has hit Western RPGs and just never went away. Like, it's kind of just stuck. So if you've played the early Assassin's Creed game, they did have a bit of like linearness to them. But if you've played literally anything recently, you'll know that all the Assassin's Creed games very much just went open world, go do your thing.
Go on a tower.
Yeah, that story linearity never disappeared from JRPG games, and I kind of like it because it means you kind of know what you're doing next, and you don't get too bogged down because, like, you don't have a quest from halfway across the freaking map anymore because you already moved on. They are very different though, and they handled power scaling differently too. A lot of Western RPGs like to scale things close to what you're at already. You know what I mean? They like to keep things difficult, but playable through regardless of where you're at. And that's why they can keep an open world. Whereas JRPGs are just like, yo, you found this back corner? Guess what? There's a mini boss side quest that doesn't show up anywhere else and is level 50, and you're level 2. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like, shit, what?
Yeah, but lately hang on a second, I need to think for a second here. I guess
no worries.
I've noticed that there is a definite gulf between people who like a linear experience, who enjoy the railroad, and people who prefer to go off-road. And I gotta wonder how that interacts with the human condition. Because, for example, okay, well, I was going to talk about D&D, but I realized that in another sense of the word, there is... Okay. Do you play for vibes, or do you play to, give up control, I guess? Because some people play for vibes, where they just want to, wander and do this and that, and they don't mind where they end up. Some people, they want to surrender some of that control, and they like being directed where to go. They like having the glowing line of piss telling them where the next objective is. And I guess therein lies a spectrum or a differential between how much agency somebody likes to have and how much agency they actually do have. I guess you could call it an agency ratio. And of course, for every player, that's going to be different. But I think theoretically, if you had an adaptive enough system, you could have a game with a variable, like a continuously variable, meaning at any point it can be changed to a different amount of agency ratio. So that way, at some point, it can be more linear. But then all of a sudden, you want to, I want to go be more freeform, so it can adapt to you. And I don't think we've ever had that before, because that would be very difficult to implement. And I think as programming has developed, obviously open world has come and made a big splash, especially with Breath of the Wild. But I can't help but feel like, yeah, you still lose some of the story significance, because like in that video essay talking about some of the failings of the open world thing is that, well, now every part of the story has to be equally valid. And so a lot of the times the story notes will start to feel repetitive, especially in Tears of the Kingdom, where the meme goes, Dark King? Secret Stone? Which they say in every single post-boss fight cutscene. And I started feeling like every story eventually leads to the conclusion, our last line of defense is Link. And it's like, okay, these stories don't feel like they have any weight to them, because they have to be potentially encountered in any order. And I feel like there were stories that had weight to them in the previous game, and while it may just be a failing in Tears of the Kingdom, it may just be that, I can't help but wonder if it's a symptom of a bigger issue with the open world concept, where unless you have lots of many different railroads that you can access remotely, that it then creates numbed and diluted storylines. So, for example, like in Breath of the Wild, the whole what's it called? Tarrytown. How there's a storyline, there's a quest line you follow, and whatnot. But it feels like the difference between the games is one was forced to always become relevant to the rest of the game, and the other is it has its own right to be there. You know what I mean? I guess that's a failing of writing then.
It's hard with an open world game because you need to have. So the benefit of something like D&D is that the big issue can just be moved.
Yeah.
Like my conflict that I want next for my players, for example, doesn't necessarily have to be the conflict that I think is next for them. They could just go off somewhere else, find a conflict, have it be legitimately meaningful for one of their characters or multiples of their characters, and I could just get to the planned one later and just scale the creatures up or change out some of the creatures.
Right.
In a video game, you can't really do that. If you could have like a scalable creature or a scalable conflict, maybe, but then story-wise, you're still like, go get the 3 medals and find them in the
procedural generation.
locations.
Yeah, it starts to feel, why am I doing any of this? It doesn't feel like impactful.
Yeah, without the character draw, it's the open world game. Collect 5 lion pelts, right? It's the go get this amount of that.
It lacks
and
profundity, perhaps.
Yeah, and if you find cool stuff at the location, awesome. But it's all gonna be scaled to you anyway, so good luck. I
want to tell you something. When I was playing Fallout New Vegas, I actually deliberately turned the difficulty down to the easiest. I do that like on all my Bethesda games, and I'll explain why. Because in New Vegas, I would like to snipe creatures from very far away, and I don't care how badass of a raider or berserker you are, you're still a human, and a giant bolt to the head is not going to be something you just shrug off because you're high level. No amount of experience is going to make a 50 cal bullet to the head irrelevant. And that's one of the problems I have with a lot of these games, where it becomes like a treadmill, where the mud crab is always the same challenge rating or whatever. The ogre is always the same challenge to you. That's the problem, is that it always feels like, yeah, but now the challenge doesn't feel significant. You know what I mean? It just feels the same the whole time. and you don't feel like you're getting anywhere.
Yeah, I've always said that when it comes to world scaling in like a single player story game, I don't enjoy it. If it's world scaling in multiplayer, then I like it because
Yeah.
that means that even if I've played through the game and I'm max level, I can go play with my friend and they won't be just carried through the game by me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
in games where like it's just you, I feel like things should have set levels, set skills, set abilities. I do like that in Fallout 4 when they added the survival-y shenanigans, they did make it so that it takes like one bullet to kill most things, or one or two bullets, but in return it takes like one or two bullets for your ass to be put to
Yeah.
the ground as well.
Suddenly it becomes Gears
And
of
it's
War, and you
like-
got to stay behind cover a lot.
Yeah, and that was really fun to play, to the point that when I went back to New Vegas, because better game, I did the same thing with the survival mode there, and I had a lot of fun. Just sometimes getting my butt handed to me, I got dropped back into that grave because it indeed was rigged from the start.
I think that's the kicker, is that you need the verisimilitude to feel like your mistakes are genuine mistakes and not just a failure of the game to present itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's like when you die randomly in, like Tarkov, for example. You just die because one guy saw you once in a window, and so you got unlucky, and it feels like, well, the game is just punishing me.
Yeah. It's got to be. It's like failures have to stem from a lack of skill, not a lack of luck.
Yeah, yeah.
But the
Goes into
unfortunate
a
part
building
is
and
that
fall
you can never escape the luck factor in any system, unfortunately, because you always have externalities.
Yeah.
Like they say, one of the most balanced games of all time is chess. But even then, it's not perfectly balanced because white goes first.
Yeah. And whoever you're against might just be better than you.
Or worse. Or, that's the thing.
So there's your luck right there. Boom, done.
Exactly.
The luck
They
is
might
who
they
you're
might be hustling you or something.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
I guess that's the problem, is you try to make a closed system to represent an open system, and you get discrepancies of verisimilitude between that as a result of that difference. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's where the simulation starts to break down, I guess. But I guess you're always going to have that. You're always going to have the glitch in the matrix.
In the end, though, I still love the open world RPGs, and I love the JRPGs. The linear as hell. Send me down one route. I want to see your story. I want to play your Final Fantasy VII, your Final Fantasy VIII, your Final Fantasy X, all the other Final Fantasies I've played, and not the ones that I haven't, because I didn't play it when it was 2D.
Well, I want to talk to you about something then, because one thing I kind of don't like about Final Fantasy VII's map design is the hallway effect. Especially FF13, where there's so little choice in how you get anywhere and what you do that it starts to makes me ask the question, why even have the hallway at all? What's the point of even just walking down a hallway from loading zone to loading zone if there is no choice anyway? Like with earlier Final Fantasy games like FF6, you had an open world. You could take any of a bunch of paths to get somewhere else. You might need a certain vehicle or a method to do it, but you still had at least the illusion of choice of how you get there. With modern games, it seems more like the illusion is really breaking down, and it starts to make me question the pertinence or relevance. The relevance of why is the hallway here if you could easily just jump cut to the next part of the story. Because my agency isn't being tested here anyway, so what is this doing here except masking load times?
In the case of for a linear game that I heavily enjoy, Legends of Dragoon, it has a whole bunch of areas that definitely in a modern day could totally be just cut out, because they're basically just, hey, it's a JRPG, you need to fight something before you get to the area type regions, where like it's just a hallway and you're literally just walking down a place. I feel like in those cases, it's to have an environment, to have a place that like shows some level of you're really this character going from place to place. Um, but I understand wanting to just like, no, it's a hallway, skip past it. You know what I mean? It's just let me go to the next thing that matters.
Yeah.
With JRPG games like the Final Fantasy series, like 7, the original 7, not the new one. I don't know much about the new one. The original 7, eventually you get an airship and you can go anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes open world, and you change discs depending on where you're at, basically, and where you're loaded into the story.
Mm-hmm.
God, I loved that massive fucking multi-disc
Yeah.
PlayStation 1. But eventually you are given the authority to just go wherever.
Yeah, and they
I
just
feel like the agency there is more for leveling up and collecting, or just the hallway is the loading time to when you're ready for the next thing.
yeah,
So I completely understand skipping it.
yeah, because I guess maybe I'm becoming jaded to the concept of the grind itself, because
Yeah.
like, why would my characters have the time to grind if this story is so urgent and happening right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so hey, the good old Legend of Dragoon. When I played it most recently, I played it modded so that I had 2 times experience gain and 2 times Zenny gain,
Mhm.
so that I didn't have to grind.
Yeah, makes sense. Like, here's
So that I could just enjoy the story and go through it.
here's a concept I want to explore with RPG is the idea of what if you don't have a grind in the traditional sense for XP, it's all skill based combat. Say you have like a timing mini game you do or something, and
That's literally what Legend of Dragoon does.
oh, okay, so if you want to hit
Legend of
harder, you
Dra-
have to be better at the game.
Yeah, you have to press X and square and circle in the correct timings for their combos, or else you only hit the enemy like once at like half damage. But if you do their combos, you can hit like every single round. You can hit like 4 or 5 times
Mm.
with the like maximum final hit. So it did have a skill-based thing, and the levels helped, but not more than you being good at the game.
Oh, okay, so then talk to me about that. Talk to me. What is that experience like compared to one where you have to grind the experience and you're relying more on the character's numbers carrying the combat versus your own skill and dexterity?
So it's interesting because every attack matters, and in fact another game did that recently. Claire Obscura Expedition 33. That one also did a skill-based, turn-based action game, where like your dodges and deflects are actively played in turn. So it almost turns it into like for Claire Obscura for Expedition 33. It almost turns it into like Dark Souls parrying or dodging on top of a normally turn-based game. And then they both had the feature of when you attack, your combos require you to hit the buttons in the correct timing. In Legend of Dragoon, it had a sort of spiraling square or circle onto a button that you would press at the time that it hit, and that would continue the combo. So there's combo that's like square, 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 and then the enemy blocks, and so it becomes a circle. So then it's circle. If the enemy didn't block, then it's another square. So it changes every time if the enemy was defensive to that particular hit.
Interesting.
But if you hit circle, then you break through their defenses and you do the full combo.
So it's built around quick time events.
Claire
as it were.
Obscura, exactly. It's basically a quick time event turn-based action game. It's very weird and very fun at the same time. I think Legend of Dragoon I preferred when it came to turn-based combat because it was active and because you had to click and do that. I beat Legend of Dragoon twice when I originally got it, and I did not beat Final Fantasy VII when I originally got it. They were of a similar era, Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy VII, and Legend of Dragoon, similar era.
Right.
I beat Legend of Dragoon twice before I beat 7 once. And it was... I don't know, it feels more interactive consistently. It's not just the strategy, it's also I get to press a button every single time. I get to do a thing. I'm always doing a thing.
Your agency is valid. Your choices are valid, as it were.
Yes, and what Expedition 33 got correct is that on the enemy's turn, my actions matter, because I'm parrying or dodging every time they go to attack. The issue I had with Expedition 33 is sometimes it was a little clunky. Fantastic game, 10 out of 10, would recommend. But if you want to just enjoy an RPG, it has a story mode difficulty where the dodging and parrying isn't as bad. Like, it has a wider window that you can use. That was fantastic. If you played in normal mode, it's a hard RPG, and it has sort of like Dark Souls level of dodge and parrying. And if you click even harder than that, then it's like, okay, no, now you're actually just playing Dark Souls. Then you're just playing a Souls-like game. Good luck. Whereas Legend of Dragoon was a system that was probably originally just tacked on for engagement, like hey, your combos matter in this. It turned out was really freaking cool and fun to do.
So they got lucky in a way.
Yeah, it was fantastic system. I really wish they'd make if another remaster comes out of like an old era game, I kind of want Legend of Dragoon to be that.
I get
that game was fantastic, and now I'm just talking about Legend of Dragoon.
It's fine. So, okay. We've been going around with a lot of stuff. We're kind of getting to the back half of the stream. So what do you say we get to the trivia section?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's go.
You told me outside of this that you wanted to do video game trivia. So why don't we get some?
Heck yeah. Give me some video game trivia. And,
all right.
Let me go for 0. Let me get absolutely none of these right.
Hey, wait! This is a list I already used before. Okay, let me see here.
Let's fail miserably, boys.
Let's see here. Okay. So, I need you to pick a number between, let's see here. How many number? 1 and 175.
Oh, good lord. 121.
All right. Hey, wait. I want to know if something's still working in my chat. Does this still work? What about... Okay. I still have a macro here. So, 1D175. Yes! Okay, it does still work. Awesome. I still have an old macro.
Nice.
Okay. You said 121?
121.
We will start with that one, and I'll use my little dice roller for the next thing. Okay. Question number 121?
Yep. I've got my hands up, so I'm not Googling. No
Okay.
Googles.
Oh. This is an odd...
Pure me.
This is odd. Okay, what...
Oh,
they miswrote it. It's what a potion table called, but I think they meant what is a potion table called.
Is this from a particular
I think Minecraft.
game? Oh, goodness. Potion table. I'm thinking... Minecraft would probably do something like Alchemist. All I remember was the freaking the brewing stand.
You got it. That's it.
Hell yeah!
Hey, so this
I was thinking that there would be another table.
Wait, so it's a whole...
Easy. 1.
this one is weirdly set up because it has several different quizzes, but they have concurrent numbering. So, like, there's one just for Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. What is this list? Okay, this is not a good one because this is just weirdly organized. Hang on.
No worries.
I gotta find a good one.
Hands up.
Why
Hands
does
up. No Googles. No Googles.
Why does WikiHow have this? Well, it'll work. Oh, and it's not numbered. Wonderful. Okay. Some of these are just insultingly easy. Okay, here's one. Since you're an old timer from this, which video game originated the phrase "All your base are belong to us"?
Isn't that Command and Conquer?
Negative. It was.
Dang it.
It was Zero Wing.
Oh, Zero Wing, son of a biscuit. Oh wait, no,
Okay.
Command and Conquer was the one with the actor that I like. Oh god, what was his name?
Ooh.
Uh,
Okay, here's one. I'll throw you an easy one. Which beloved Pokemon is the? Which beloved Pokemon is the first
Beloved
one listed
Pokemon?
in the Pokedex?
the first one listed in the Pokedex?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which one comes first. Is it Charmander?
Is that your final answer?
I'm gonna say yes.
Negative. It's Bulbasaur.
Oh, it's grass first. Son of a biscuit.
I know, right?
It's been so long since I've played Pokemon. Dude, I kind of want to play Pokemon again. I was playing Infinite Fusions for a while there. Good game.
Okay, so you like RPGs. Here's one about an RPG.
Can anybody answer these questions? I already got one right. I got one right. I was going for zero, Orange. I was going for zero. I got one.
Okay.
What's up?
Which video game was the first to include a complete saving system?
Neat saving system.
And it did say video game, not computer game.
Right? Doom had level select. Was it that far back? Are we going? Trying to make a guess. I've got my hands up. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going through the brain archives here. First full save. Because I know there was weird saves in some of those games and I don't know what counts. I don't know.
Okay.
Final answer. I have
The
no
Legend
idea
of
what
Zelda.
the first one was. The Legend of Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It was back during the password era, so back then they just give you a password to bring you back to where you were. But that one actually had a saving system.
Yeah. I remember the password system. Good lord.
Yeah. Okay, some of these are really easy. Yeah, okay, it starts easy and it
Okay.
gets hard. Okay. Oh, this one might throw you for a loop. Okay. What princess does Mario rescue in the Nintendo game Super Mario Land?
In Land. Oh god, I played this with my brother. What one was at the end? What one was at the end? It's one of those things where, like, habitually you want to go, oh, it's Peach! But it might not have been, because they had way too many in those games. Yoshi, that's not the right one. You said Mario Land. Mario Bros.
The game is called Super Mario Land.
Okay, so it's a Super Mario game, so it's that generation. Frick. Don't want to say Peach. I want to say Daisy wasn't until later, was she? Frick it. I'm gonna say no. It's gotta be another one. I'm gonna say Daisy, just as a guess.
That's right.
But
You got
I
it.
know it's a different one, but I don't know which one it was. I forgot which one has the first set of. Oh, good. Let's go. That's two. That's two, baby.
Oh, wow. Okay, here's one. What is arguably the first video game created back in 1958?
Arguably the first one in 1958. So I don't know if that would have been pre-Pong then, wouldn't it have? Because that didn't come out until, well, Pong wasn't around to begin with. It was done using. It doesn't matter. Why did my hand go down?
You can just put your hands in front of your head
know.
if you wanted to rest them.
Right. I gotta put them forward because my sensor's on my desk.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I don't know.
It was
and
Pong.
not just because my hand went down. It was Pong. Son of a bitch.
Yep. Yep. Though I think that they might be conflating Pong with Tennis for Two, which was like a kind of a game made on an oscilloscope.
Yes, that was the name that I was looking for. Jesus.
Yeah, which was made on
Yes.
like an oscilloscope,
Yes.
and actually even had simulated gravity.
Yes, that is the one I was thinking of. I'm like, it wasn't Pong. I think Pong was later, but I don't know what. But doesn't matter. I got it wrong. I didn't end up answering.
Okay,
I still only got two.
Okay,
Two?
Here's one. Which classic video game features a long journey that begins in Independence, Missouri?
The Oregon Trail?
Yep.
Okay, three. I got three. Baby.
Bonus one. What describe the circumstances behind its development? What kind of person made that game?
Oh God, I have no idea. I only played it. I didn't bother looking into any of that.
It's a bonus point, so you can pass.
I'm gonna say he was a member of the mafia.
No, it was a history teacher. And
Dang it!
It was a history teacher that wanted to use it to help teach the kids how that thing worked.
Oh, that makes sense. One of the first times I played it, or first times I had it easy access to it, was in a school, so that makes sense. I saw three.
Okay, here's one. In what year did the popular game Myst launch?
Jeez, the year? I am horrible with dates if it's not related to the wars. Let's see. 394. We had a copy of it for PC. There was, I think, the one with the R, Riv something, came out. Riven, that's literally its name. I'm dumb. Came out, and we had that one on. We put that one on the. Did we have that one on PC? I'm gonna say we're looking in the 90s. I'm gonna say 96. I never remember.
Nope, it's 1993.
Bitch.
You were so close when you said
went too
94.
far.
You were so close.
I'm like, I know it was a 90s game because we had Riven, we had Myst, we had there's another one in there that I'm missing, but there was like the Riven trilogy basically, or the Myst trilogy. Good games.
Okay. How many colossi can be encountered in Shadow of the Colossus?
Okay, so warning, I never played this, but 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to count them from what I remember of the map that I saw. Again, P.S. I have never actually played this game, so I don't know. There's the bird, there's the tall guy, there's the diggy thing, there's the... Is the water thing different? Yeah, because there was one in the sand and one, like, in a watery area. But was the watery area the bird? I'm gonna say 5.
Afraid it's 16.
Oh, good lord, there's a million of those. Can you tell that I've only watched videos about it?
It's all good. Let me see if I can find one that you might like better.
16 though. That actually sounds super fun.
Oh, it's a great game. It's really
That
good.
sounds good.
Oh
yeah, no, I've seen plenty of the game. I've just
I got a question for you.
never played it.
The character Kirby appeared with what color on the original box art for the United States?
Right, it wasn't the pink one, was it? What? Why do I have a feeling it's one of the colors that was in Smash Bros. Later? Was it? Why do I want to say blue? I'm probably wrong with blue. I'm gonna say blue anyways. Blue.
Nope, it was white. Because the game was black and white, so they didn't really know what color it was.
It was. Right. It was black and white. Because those games were black.
Okay, I'm going to throw you a slow ball. How many swords does Geralt of Rivia carry at all times?
He's got a silver sword and a steel sword, so 2?
Yep.
Yeah, that's 4. I've got 4.
Okay. Would you like a hard one or an easy one?
I mean, freaking crush my butt. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll probably get it wrong. That's fine.
What
I'm okay
error appears on the title screen of the SNES version of Clock Tower?
Oh. Oh no, I had that. Clock Tower. Almost, I didn't have that for SNES, so I think I'm gonna have to say I don't know.
Okay, in the very beginning,
those,
it has this title
horror
crawl.
Games for PC.
It had this thing that says CLOCKTOWEL instead of R.
The Clock Tower.
Yes, it's a very wet tower, so you got to get a towel for it. Oh, I didn't. Oh, here's a question that I didn't know. Dang. Okay.
Ooh, what you got?
I'll make this one worth 3 points if you can get it. This is a hard one. I didn't know this.
Okay.
What was the first job of Gunpei Yokoi, inventor of the Game Boy?
Oh, the inventor of the Game Boy. Why do I feel like I should know this? They showed... Probably gonna have to make a guess. Let's see. People who've made things. We've got... In their garage like a bunch of idiots. We've got... I don't know why I want to say that, but that's probably wrong. I'm going to say it anyways. I'm going to say he was automotive repairman.
Well, it was blue collar, but he was a janitor.
Oh, janitor. Yeah, that checks out. That makes sense.
Okay.
A lot of those designers and people did all sorts of like just simple jobs originally.
Oh, here's a nostalgia trip for you.
Mm-hmm.
What edgy song was used to market a famous Halo game in the early 2000s that was given to the developer for free to use because it was a brand new band, or it was a struggling band?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't really watch commercials back then. But let's see. Struggling band back in the era of Halo. Which Halo is the question?
I'll give you a hint. This song ended up becoming very cliche to use in like YouTube AMV videos because of how edgy it sounded.
Oh God. Okay. No, I can like hear it, but I don't know the name. No.
Here, sing it.
The problem is I don't know if I can sing it either. It's trying to think. It's like it's that moment when you can see the old YouTube like homepage and you see blank HMV and then something playing in front of it and you can't quite hear the music that's playing. That's what's going through my head right now. And it's nope, nothing has that. What was it? I remember I remember there being a popular one. What was it? Oh, I'm gonna have to say I don't know, and I hate that.
You tapping out?
I'm trying to think of era. The problem is I don't know the names of songs either. Yeah, I tap out.
Okay.
Nope.
Blow Me Away by Breaking Benjamin. I will stay
Oh,
in the
that
mess
one.
I made. Fire all your guns, one after all. Blow me away. Only the strongest
God,
will
I do know
survive.
that one.
Remember that song?
I do know that one.
Yeah!
Dude.
Yeah. That was a hard one. That was a really hard one. So I'm going to throw you an easy one after that.
So many HMV/AMV freaking things came out with that, and all the other edgelord songs. I mean, all.
Oh,
the
yeah.
other,
Oh, yeah. It was. I
What
call
else
it
you
the
got?
basic bro national anthem. It's a song that every guy from that era is going to just like, yeah, I know that song. I love that song. I don't like that I did, but I knew that song.
Yup.
Okay, here's an easy one for you, since we just did a hard one. What video game was released alongside the Nintendo 64?
Oh God. I don't think I got mine until later, which means it's a different package. Because mine came with mine came with Smash Bros. It came with Donkey Kong, and it came with an expansion pack because
Wow.
I didn't buy mine until way later. Yeah, the little yellow expansion pack, fucking love that
Nice.
thing. But the lid broke on it. Oh, was it Mario 64?
Yes.
I'm gonna say Mario 64.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right.
I got that game later, but yes. Heck yeah, that's another point. Let's go. It was either that or Star Fox 64.
All right. Do you want a
which I
medium,
also got
easy, or
at the
hard
same
one?
time.
Or sorry, easy, medium, or hard one?
Bruh, hit me with. Does the hard one require me to know a date? If it doesn't require me to know a date, do the hard one.
Okay.
If it says like, what year did this come out? No, then no, I'm horrible at that. I've lived for too long. I don't know what fucking year.
What
it was
country
when-
is Tetris
when that
from?
Oh,
This could be considered
Well-
a trick question but you have to think for a second.
yeah, no, it was technically a Russian designer who got access to that. The Soviets fought him on that, though. I would say, technically speaking, the Soviet Union.
That's right.
Is the origin? Yes.
If you said Russia,
Yeah.
you're sort of right,
Point.
but the really correct answer is the Soviet Union, because that's what it was called
Yeah,
at the
it
time.
was the Soviet Union. They fought him on that for a while, and then royalties were an issue. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's a
Soviet
question.
Union, let's go.
Uh-huh. How did the creeper in Minecraft come to be in terms of development?
Oh. I'm probably gonna have to say I don't know because I haven't really looked into development stuff. I played Minecraft as soon as it was in like its early beta stuff, and I owned it since basically it was starting to be ownable. But I don't know if I ever actually followed its development the entire time.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to say I don't know for that one.
It was a pig that was glitched out into that shape, and he thought it was so creepy he decided to keep that shape and make it into the creeper.
Oh, that makes sense. That would be a thing he would do.
Okay.
Back in the good old days when he could do whatever he wanted and they added a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, here's a hard one. The arcade game Donkey Kong was manufactured using the existing cabinets of what game?
Don't know why I'm thinking it was Joust, but it might not have been Joust. It might have been one of the Galacta games. There was two of those, and one of them was very unpopular compared to the other one. Even Centipede? No, because those still existed after the fact. Nobody really changed those. Whereas Joust kind of just died. I'm gonna say Joust. I don't think it's right, but I'm gonna say
I'm afraid
Joust.
the answer was Radar Scope.
Radar scope. Oh god, even I don't remember that very well. That exists. That was a thing that existed.
Okay, here's an easy one. Identify the game that this quote comes from. It's your cousin. Why don't you take me bowling?
Oh. As not being Nico, Grand Theft Auto 4 was the one that's in Liberty City. Good lord.
Yep, that's right. It was Nico, it's your cousin. Why don't you take me bowling? They made a whole song based on that because he calls you all the time.
Nico. Yeah.
All right.
That game was fun. Never beat it.
Okay, here's one that you have to know is about development. What was the development name of the Nintendo Wii?
Oh. I've definitely heard it. Question is, can I go into my mind and find that word, that name, that might have just been purged from my memories, though. No, I'm just gonna say, don't know.
Okay.
I can never remember the early project names, even though I know I
It was
probably
Revolution.
definitely heard it. If you tell me what it is.
Revolution.
Yup.
Okay. Nah, some of these are like insultingly easy.
What is 2 plus 2? It is fish!
Nah, some of these are like way too easy. Like, what is the name of the protagonist of The Last of Us? That's way too easy. Nah, some of these I've been having to...
Obviously, it's Ricky Gervais.
Okay, what about... Oh, what ESRB rating did Conker's Bad Fur Day have?
Hang on. I put my hands down with this because I'm answering the text real quick.
Okay.
Sorry, roommate texted me. I believe, because of what it originally had, I think it originally had an adult only, which I believe, I don't know if it was called AO back then, because I don't know if ESRB had the AO rating. I'm gonna say that they did. I'm gonna say it's the adult only rating was the original before they edited the crap out of it.
Ooh, that's actually pretty insightful because
that's just a guess.
I was gonna say M, but that's like the later version. I believe that there was like a whole Did You Know Gaming on this, where they're talking about how there was a lot of back and forth on this, and there was a lot of like, because it's one of those yes and answers.
Yeah, ESRB has changed their ratings pretty often. It's the same as like the movies. They've changed what is considered like PG-13 over time.
Oh yeah.
Like if you watch a PG-13 from back then, it's like, oh,
like Temple of Doom or watching a guy get burned alive is a PG.
Yup.
And like The Matrix is rated R.
But that was my guess. Was that right? Was I right?
You're pretty much right because it was a more difficult one. I was gonna say M. But yeah, they were like threatening to make it AO at some point. I forget now.
Wait, I'll take it.
Okay, let's do one last one. What video game was so notoriously bad it almost crashed the entire industry?
Oh no, I have to fight. Oh god, which era was it? E.T. was bad, but it wasn't the worst. Superman was horrible. That game was horrendous.
It nearly crashed the entire industry,
definitely
not just the company.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say it was the Superman game,
You had it first. It was
which
E.T.
I don't remember the exact name of.
It was
It was ET. Son of a...
Yep. Okay.
I'm like, it's got to be one of those two.
All right. Well, I think we've had enough
Dang.
trivia for now. I think we're doing good. Okay, so we're reaching the end of the stream, and what I like to do is I like to have the guest pick who we raid.
Ooh. Okay. Let's see here. Yo, there's this new streamer. Hang on, let me see if he actually has audio and if he fixed it.
Okay.
Let me ping him real quick here. Hey, you playing for a while? Let's see if he answers that, and hopefully it doesn't sound horrible. If not, I'm uncertain.
Well, did he get?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He has to go play with. He has to go play Fortnite with his daughter, so he's gonna stop streaming. So unfortunately, I actually don't have somebody to raid.
That's okay. Well,
I'm still pretty new, technically. I mean, it's been a couple years, but
that's
there's not
fine.
many people I watch other than my close friends.
That's fine. We have so we have Dura Soup is online. We have Heretic Slim is online. Why don't we raid Dura?
Sweet.
Hmm?
Heck yeah.
All right. So.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Well, as we're closing up, I want to say, everyone, thank you so much to everyone who came out today. I want to say thank you very much, Cortland, for coming out and letting me interview on my silly little show. And I want to say, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful night. I hope you all get home safely if you're listening to this outside of your house. And I wish you all the best. So I am going to start.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, Cortland. No problem. No problem. All right, we're gonna get ready to raid. All right, everybody, we're gonna raid in just a few moments. And our Cortland, since you didn't pick the raid, why don't you say, what's the raid message when everyone arrives?
I actually don't normally do raid messages. Let's go with, I want to say, like, Team Zargrim inbound?
Okay. Okay, I'll post that then. Raid message is Team Zargrim inbound. So everyone, copy that and get that ready to paste when we arrive, okay? All right, we're about to raid. We're raiding in a few seconds, so everyone get ready. Copy it. Get ready. And 3, 2, 1. Bye, everybody. Raiding. Bye-bye. Okay, just a sec.